I did buy hay hauler, but I didn't fix that one yet. So the one that I fixed up first was Lil Sis. It was the '02 model.
GMC, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the very first one I went turbo with. Hay hauler was actually nitrous, and once I got it done, but I went turbo right off the rip with Lil Sis, and it was something very simple. You know, it was like a 6.0 with I think it was 88 millimeter turbo, 480 transmission, and just something super simple.
Yeah.
And
I don't remember that one though because when we went to your house, remember you had the little blue house?
yeah,
It needed like a lot of work.
yeah. Well, that one was on if it was to the left hand side. I usually had the
Yeah.
truck there, but like I said, I did have hay hauler. It just had a all motor deal,
Yeah.
nothing crazy.
Yeah, right, right.
So I started with that one first, and then finally I put I think it was like a 408, and put a bunch of nitrous on hay hauler and started running that one. But the other one was just like a real simple street truck. It wasn't nothing crazy
Yeah,
yet.
yeah, yeah.
Yet.
Yet, yeah.
But it just kind of progressed. I started working on hay hauler, and 3, 4, 5 different engines. After that, it just finally, started working on the suspension more. Started putting a cage on it, 9-inch rear end, and it just kind of went from there.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I still had the other truck. I just kind of, made some changes, bigger turbo, and just kind of upgraded. But I mean, yeah, it's been a journey.
And hay hauler, like, talk about the build of hay hauler. I know, was it 414 still?
It started with the 414. Yes,
Okay.
it was still a 6.0 block. Had a power glide, Fab 9 rear end, 25 2 cage. I mean, it was nice. It was nicely built for what it was back then. Still stock frame and all that. No fiberglass parts because nothing of that was built.
Right.
Nobody sold any stuff of that. And I think the truck weighed like still maybe 3,500. With the
Really?
driver, so it was still heavy. And it was a 414, and we went. I think it was an 881 or something like that.
Uh,
Then we had some issues with the block, broke one of the sleeves, and it just kind of progressed from there. So I started building a new motor for it. Once I got all that, and we ran into the eights, which was the first one in the eights. The truck was the first one in the nines. It was the first one in the eights as well. And we started building a new motor, and we just kind of waited and waited and waited. I mean, we never got the motor. I mean, it was like maybe 2 years, and I still hadn't gotten a motor. So that's whenever I got, just like, you know what, I'm done with this truck. That's when I actually sold it.
oh,
Yeah. So I never really went on with it just because I waited too long for a motor. And by that time, the Lil Sis was already fastest.
yeah.
It was just fast enough and getting pretty much faster in that one. So
Talk about corn fed.
corn fed,
The first corn fed.
man, corn fed was started out life as in the back of the shop full of grass and everything. Yeah, and it had a small block. It was a 383 carburetor, and like I said, the motor was new though. It sat there in the back of the shop for a couple years. So finally, after I sold hay hauler, I'm like, you know what? Let me build this one. That was like already a couple years. I'm like, you know what? Let me build it. So I left the same motor in it, and it didn't work out very well. I lifted nitrous, didn't work out very well. So I yanked all that stuff out, and I put a 5.3 in it. I put 5.3, put twin 66s, I think they were. Put a power glide in it, 10 bolt in the back, blah, blah, blah. E85, Holly, you name it. And we started running that one. We ran that one, and of course, it got a bunch of upgrades in the process. We started off with something real simple, making like 800 horsepower, and it progressed all the way to 2,000 plus horsepower.
On the 5.3?
No, 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 no.
Oh, okay.
Different
I
motor.
remember they were saying that it wasn't a 5.3. Remember?
No, at first it was.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was a 5.3.
Yeah.
Started off with it, and it ran. I think it ran like 850s or 830s, something like that. Then we stepped it up to a 370, then went 408. Then finally we went 427, and like I said, that thing had maybe 4 or 5 different motors in it.
Wow.
Yeah, it just kind of progressed, and everything progressed through it. The suspension, the transmissions, the rear end, just everything, just shocks.
Right,
Everything
right.
just kind of progressed over time on that one. and we ran a lot of no preps with that one, mainly no prep. We ran a lot of no preps,
Right.
and we made a lot of money with that truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made a lot of money. I miss that truck still.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great truck.
And then what happened to it? You got into a wreck or?
No, no. Well, actually, it did, but then it got fixed. We
Yeah.
was filming for Discovery,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't drive it at that time because my license was suspended. And it's funny though because the guys and the directors from Discovery, they asked me, he's like, well, why is your license suspended? So, well, because of the same thing we're gonna film for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's I don't. So whatever.
So did you get caught in cornfed racing or was it another?
Just other stuff.
Okay, okay, got you. Yeah.
But they were like, well, why don't you have one? I said, well, because of the same thing we're gonna do, man.
Yeah.
Like so. But they didn't let me drive, so I had to find another driver. So I called a buddy of mine, and that's the only time somebody else has driven for me. And we went out and tested, and everything went great. And we go film, and then the day of filming, the first race, he gets in a wreck.
Yeah.
It got away from him, and he flipped it maybe 4 or 5 times. He barrel rolled,
Damn.
and I mean he came out okay. It was the cage was good and everything, so he came out okay. A couple broken ribs, but for the most part he was fine.
Yeah.
So then we took that thing back to the shop. I mean it was, we had to put a new cab in it, and just a bunch of upgrades, but we ended up fixing it back up. We ended up fixing it back up, and it was. The motor got refreshed back again. The transmission got checked, and everything just got checked and put it all back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when Cornfed 2.0 came out?
That's when Cornfed 2.0 came out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when it came out, and we still kept on doing the same thing though with all the no prep stuff, and we ran good though. I mean back then, if you ran like 480s, 490s, you was in the top of the pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're hard to beat.
Right.
And we were there. Every once in a while, we would dip into like a 470. But for the most part, I mean, we'd kept it around a 480 range. And like I said, we won a lot of money with that thing.
Yeah.
And it was good, though.
And let me ask you this. You said that sometimes it went to 470s. Is it because of weather or is it because of...
Just weather and track
Okay.
conditions.
Okay.
They get better, so you're able to you're allowed to be able to put a little bit more power to it. You go a little faster. See, on the no prep stuff, I mean, you just have to cut down on power because the track is slick. It's no prep.
Yeah.
So there are some surfaces that are more slick than other ones. In some tracks you could go faster than other ones. So it just depends. You got to read the racetrack and make your adjustments, stuff like that.
Got you.
Yeah.
And you took Cornfed to Discovery?
No, corn-fed. After all that, the racing, the no prep stuff. Then it's when it's got its new paint job and
Yeah.
make it look nice again.
Right.
Basically the same paint job there, it did real nice. We went to Georgia. We put on a set of radials on it for the first time, and that's actually, I guess, the first time that people really seen how fast the truck was.
Yeah.
We put it on a good track, and we ended up going 430 something in the 8th mile.
Wow.
So that was good. Right after that, it got sold.
Really? That was the marketing point of the truck.
I guess so. Right after that, it got sold. So once we come back, had a buddy of mine and like, hey, I got a customer and he wants it. Name the price what you want. And so okay, so we
Wow.
back and forth and stuff, and we decided on a number, and it got sold.
Nice, man. That's crazy.
I know.
Talk about Blue Magic.
Blue Magic, I've had for a long time.
Yeah.
I've had it for a long time, and that car started off as a nitrous deal. It was just a simple 408 nitrous, and ran that one. Not for long on nitrous. Then we started doing the turbo kit, and finally went turbo on it. But that car's been in the stable for a long time, and I don't race it a whole lot. It kind of stays there. It might sit for 6 or 7 months, and then it's like, oh, you know what? Let's go take it racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it what size tire is it on?
That car runs on a 275. Yeah, it's got a radial tire, and it's pretty much been in a radial ever since. We've done some upgrades to it. It started off with Q16 on fuel with ice, air to water,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, all that stuff, and eventually, threw all that stuff in the garbage and went with
Why?
alcohol.
Why'd you go from this setup to alcohol?
Well, alcohol you can make more power,
Yeah, yeah.
and you can lighten the vehicle up too.
Mm.
So you don't need all the extra air to water tanks. You ain't gotta be buying ice. You don't need a radiator. You don't need none of that stuff. So and alcohol at the end of the day is cheaper than Q16. Yeah,
Okay.
like I can buy a whole barrel, a 55-gallon drum of alcohol for like $250.
Damn.
If you buy Q16, you buy a 5-gallon pail for $140.
Yeah.
5 gallons. It's a big difference.
And how does it wear, the engine wear with alcohol?
Well, the oil on it, if you run regular oil, it's gonna get milky real quick because I mean, and like I said, the injector's gotta be different, the fuel pump's gotta be different, your wideband's gotta be different. I mean, there's just a lot of variables that change, but it consumes so much fuel that your regular oil will get milky because it'll go past the rings. It's just because it burns so fast, so you have to put a lot more to it.
Right.
And the injectors are a lot bigger. Like I said, you go from a set of 160s for Q16 to a set of 700s
Damn.
on something like that. I mean, and you can get away with 550s, but depends on the power that you're actually trying to make. I usually do minimum 700s up to 950s. So it just kind of depends what your combination is.
And the injectors are still O-ring or they're the screw-in types?
Well, I have quite a bit that they're O-ring, and then I have some that are screw-in type. And the screw-in type, I've been doing that lately just because the pressures exceed 150 psi. Like this weekend, we was out there and I got a car that we were seeing 170 pounds of fuel pressure.
Wow.
Yeah,
Where was that at?
and XRP.
XRP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just kind of keeps the injector in place.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, I've had one blow an O-ring on me, and it catch some fire.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, Juan Struck. That was with Juan Struck. We ran the 770 something. Man, there's been so many. Like I'm telling you, I mean, there's been so many trucks I can't really keep up. As
With
far as,
one transmission?
yeah,
Okay.
we went. Like I said, we went eights and sevens, and I think two trucks at the time that they were running sevens. So that particular time, I think the one you're talking about, we ran them with Juan's truck, and it was the black twin turbo truck, not the one with the single. It was a black twin turbo truck, and I think it went like a 782 or a 783 to Spike 778, maybe
Yeah.
somewhere around there. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was somewhere in that range. So then, Spike now at this particular point had you know the record.
Yeah.
So he held it for a little bit, and then I think we came out with Deadly Struck. That's when I started working back again on Deadly Struck, because Deadly Struck, which is the brown one, Big Bad Brown, somebody else would mess with it. So then they brought it back over to me, and I made a bunch of changes, and then I put it on the radials this time. And the first rip that I go down the racetrack, because I was driving it, the first rip that I go down the racetrack, I think we went like a 730 something
Wow.
or a 740 something. So I'm like, okay. So I made some changes.
Crazy.
And Deadly wasn't here in town. He was back home in Zapata. And so I made some changes, and I went back at it. I think we went a 730 something, and then a 720 something,
Damn.
and then we left it. We left it there. I think it was, and so after that, of course, now, you know, Deadly's got the full size record or whatever, and we just upgraded a bunch of stuff and just kind of upgraded the suspension better and just made it better. And then that's when it went sixes for the first time, and then it ended up going like a 689 or a 69, something like that.
Wow.
Yep. So
Crazy fast. What was the trap for it?
I think it was like 195 or 196.
And a quarter?
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. It never really reached 200, but
That's crazy.
it was up there. And then by that time, Deadly ran it himself. No,
I mean, and were you racing the truck?
No, no, Deadly ran it on.
Oh, okay.
Whenever I ran it, I was just that basically the first times that we had it on radios and stuff like that. So he wasn't being able to make it, so I ran it, and that's when it went to 720 somethings. We made a couple changes, suspension and everything just got changed, different wheels, lighter brakes, you know. And then Deadly got back in it, and then he ended up going like low sevens, and then finally it went sixes, and so forth.
Wow. Talk about Mona now. Mona Lisa, the giveaway,
Mona,
truck giveaway.
we got Mona Lisa giveaway. It's an iconic truck. It's one of a kind. I mean, the paint job on it, you've seen it.
Super nice.
Super, super nice. I mean, it's candy paint. I mean, what else can you ask for?
Yeah.
I mean, it'll go 390s. It's ready. It's ready to go. The motor is brand new. That thing makes about 3,000 horsepower and about 55 pounds of boost.
Wow.
Yeah. It's got the best of the best. It's got a Mark Mickey transmission. I mean, it's got a 4-link suspension. It's an all-tube chassis deal. I mean, it's a super, super nice build. I mean, we did spend a bunch of pennies on it. It's a super, super nice build. And we got a little bit less than a month away
Yeah.
for the deadline. A little bit less than a month.
We were trying to do the podcast months ago.
Yes.
Had a little incident, but it doesn't matter. We're still here.
Yeah.
So talk about the motor. Talk about the.
The motor is a 427. It's a dart block. It's got a set of Higgins LS7 heads on it, CID intake. I mean, it's a solid roller motor, of course. The heads are solid. It's on alcohol. It's got a dry sump system, so meaning that the oil doesn't go inside the motor. The oil is on a separate tank. The oil pump is external as well. Um, you know, Mark Mickey transmission. It's a 400 2-speed. 4-link suspension, like I said, all tube chassis. I mean, the fenders are steel. The hood's fiberglass. The doors are fiberglass. The bed sides are the original ones also. And it's got a lot of carbon fiber everywhere, inside, outside.
Nice.
Bed cover, you name it. It sits real, real low, like I said. And everything's new though. I mean, the motor got refreshed before I actually put it, as the giveaway. So that thing is ready to go. Everything's fresh. It's been right now. It's sitting on Projects. It's waiting for its new owner.
Right.
And it is we've been having it for 2 months. So we're just about a month away, and for the deadline. So flacosperformance.com, you can get we got shirts right here. Which
Thank you for the shirts.
yeah, so I mean, we just got them in not too long ago. I was waiting on the supplier, but we finally got them in. We sold a bunch of them, and I'm like, hey, just hold on. You're getting your merch. Just bear
Yeah.
with me. So we finally got them. Started shipping them out, and I've had the decals. You can see
Yeah.
we've had the decals. Now the decals, there's all different. It can range from the entries can range from, I think it's 5 entries all the way up to 100 entries. So, you can buy a $10 sticker, which you'll get 5 entries towards the truck. Which in reality, it only takes one.
Right. Yeah.
And then you can get all the way up to 100 entries, which is the shirt, the decals, and some other stuff.
Right.
That'll get you 100 entries. So, and of course, I've done some. Promotions in the meantime. Like 3 times, 5 times, and then this weekend it just passed. It was Father's Day weekend. I had 10 times
Right.
the entries on anything you bought.
Crazy. Nice. And why do the Mona Lisa giveaway?
Well,
Has it been doing good?
yeah,
Nice.
we've been selling some merchandise and stuff, and
Nice.
and it's been doing okay. Now I don't know if you remember, I had posted it for sale before that. I posted on. I didn't really like post it a bunch of times, but I posted it one time, and I had some guys interested and stuff, but it was just it didn't fall. It didn't go through. So then I'm like, you know what? Let's put it up as a giveaway.
Right.
And at the same time, it gives me, to sell the merchandise and this and that.
Right.
And that's basically how you do the giveaway. So,
Yeah.
and it's been doing good. Like I said, one lucky winner is gonna get it.
Yeah.
I hope it's somebody that actually knows what to do with it, or actually that somebody has race cars or something. That truck is not to be taken lightly.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I'm gonna sign. I'm gonna have him sign a waiver and everything. Whoever wins it, it's gonna sign a waiver and all that kind of stuff. But it it's definitely not gonna have the 390 tune-up in it. It's definitely gonna have a slow tune-up in it. Even though it's somebody that knows what to do with it, it's still gonna have a slow tune-up in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's been doing good. Like I said, make sure to check out Flacos Performance, and like I say, get your merch, whatever. And we got some more merch coming in, like different styles of shirts.
Oh, cool.
We're just gonna add on to the website. Just a whole variety of different stuff that you. So.
Thank you for tuning in to Go Hard Podcast. Make sure you check out flacoperformance.com. Is it .net or .com?
.com.
.com.
Flacosperformance.com.
Flacosperformance.com. Go buy some merch, buy a sticker, get a chance to win Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
We talked about it. You heard it on the podcast, how much power it makes, the potential power it could make.
Oh, yeah.
And all the goodies of Mona Lisa. Make sure you check out Flacos Performance on Instagram, his TikTok, and Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Facebook?
TikTok and Facebook.
Make sure you check out Go Hard Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and you can hear the audio on Spotify, Apple, all the audio platforms. Thank you. Hey, Flaco, appreciate you coming out to the podcast, man. When I was younger, I was like, dang, this dude's like my idol, because he was racing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's been an honor to have you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Share your story with us. Share like where you started, from everything, Dubai, the middle to now to what's to come.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Peace.
For having me.